Redditors of Reddit, what's the best joke you know? Do you spot a blind man in a nudist camp? It's not hard.
Before this post I knew of many naked jokes, but I don't think I nudist one.
Waterboarding in Guantanamo Bay sounds like a great time if you don't know what either of those things are.
Water sports in Guantanamo Bay would be a whole other story.
How many potatoes does it take to kill an Irishman? None. What's the difference between a dirty bus stop and a lobster with breast implants? One is a crusty bus station and the other is a busty crustacean. What's the difference between a pickpocket and a peeping Tom? One is a watch snatcher and the other is a snatch watcher. Speaking of pickpockets, did you hear about the midget who had his pockets picked? How could anyone stoop so low? A new arrival to Gulag is asked, what were you given 10 years for? For nothing. Don't lie to us here, comrade. Everybody knows for nothing is 3 years. A man sees someone else walking down the street with one bare foot. What happened? Did you lose a boot? He asks. No, the other guy responds with excitement, I found one. 3 prisoners in a gulag talk. 1, so why are you here? 2, my clock was early so I came to work early and they said I was spying you. 1, my clock was late so I came to work late and they said I was running anti-state propaganda at home. Hey, what about you? 3, my clock was on time so they said I smuggled it from the west. A Czech and a Russian are walking down the road and find 100 crowns. Czech money. The Russian says, comrade, let's split this like true communists. The Czech says, oh no, we're splitting this 50-50. Doctor, I swallowed a pen. Well, sit down and write your name.
Seems like the person has a pen inside it is.
Guy walks into a bar and says to the bartender, I'll show you something amazing for a beer. Bartender agrees. Guy pulls out a 10 inches pianist from his pocket and sets him on the bar. He starts playing beautifully. The bartender, wowed, demands, where the hell did you find that, little man? Guy says, I've got a tiny wizard in my other pocket. For another beer, you can make a wish. Bartender agrees and says, wizard, I'd like 100,000 bucks. Suddenly the bar fills with 100,000 ducks. Bartender, confused and angry, says, what the hell, mate? I didn't want 100,000 ducks. Guy responds, oh, you think I wanted a 10-inch pianist? 2 windmills are standing in a field when one asks, what's your favorite type of music? The other says, I'm a big metal fan. What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One is very heavy, and the other is a little lighter. I went to a beekeeper to get 12 bees. He counted and gave me 13. So, you gave me an extra, that's a freebie. An Englishman, a Frenchman, a Spaniard and a German are all standing watching an American street performer do some juggling. The juggler notices the 4 gentlemen have a very poor view, so he stands up on a wooden crate and calls out, can y'all see me now? Yes, we see ya. Real dad joke coming up. What's a pirate's favorite letter? Most proceed to say RRRR. You'd think it's the R but its first love is the C. My all-time favorite to tell at parties, there was this man in Bulgaria who drove trains for a living. He loved his job. Driving a train had been his dream ever since he was a child. He loved to make the train go as fast as possible. Unfortunately, one day he was a little too reckless and caused a crash. He made it out, but one person had died. Well, needless to say, he went to court over this incident. He was found guilty and was sentenced to death by electrocution. When the day of the execution came, he requested a single banana as his last meal. After eating the banana, he was strapped into the electric chair. The switch was flown, sparks flew, and smoke filled the air, but nothing happened. The man was perfectly fine. Well, at the time, there was an old Bulgarian law that said a failed execution was a sign of divine intervention, so the man was allowed to go free. Somehow, he managed to get his old job back driving the train. Having not learned his lesson at all, he went right back to driving the train with reckless abandon. Once again, he caused a train to crash, this time killing 2 people. The trial went much the same as the first, resulting in a sentence of execution. For his final meal, the man requested 2 bananas. After eating the bananas, he was strapped into the electric chair. The switch was thrown, Sparks flew, smoke filled the room, and the man was once again unharmed. Well, this of course meant that he was free to go. And once again, he somehow managed to get his old job back. To what should have been the surprise of no one, he crashed yet another train and killed 3 people. And so he once again found himself being sentenced to death. On the day of his execution, he requested his final meal, 3 bananas. You know what? No, said the executioner. I've had it with you and your stupid bananas and walking out of here unharmed. I'm not giving you a thing to eat. I don't know what the bananas do to help you stay alive, but we're strapping you in and doing this now. Well, it was against protocol, but the man was strapped into the electric chair without a last meal. The switch was pulled, sparks flew, smoke filled the room, and the man was still unharmed. The executioner was speechless. The man looked at the executioner and said, "Oh, the bananas had nothing to do with it. I'm just a bad conductor." 3 vampires in a clan are fighting over who of them is the best, and they decide to compete. The first runs into the nearby village and returns in 10 minutes. "See that house over there?" he says. "I drained the whole family." The second vampire vanishes into the village and comes back in 5 minutes. "See the church over there?" he asks. "I drained everyone inside." The third vampire heads out and comes back in 1 minute, face covered in blood. "See that tree over there?" he asks. "I didn't." Why do scuba divers fall out of the boat backwards? Because if they fell forwards they'd still be in the boat. One day a koala was feeling super horny. He walks out to the corner, finds a prostitute, and brings her back to a hotel room. He eats her out, wipes his mouth, and heads towards the door. The prostitute says, "Excuse me hun, I'm a prostitute. You gotta pay up." Look up prostitute in the dictionary, has sex for money. The koala replies, "Look up koala in the dictionary, eats bush and leaves." What's brown and rhymes with Snoop? Dr. Dre. An Irish man walks into a pub. "What'll you have?" the bartender asks. "Give me 3 pints of Guinness, please," says the man. The bartender brings him 3 pints, and the man proceeds to sip them alternately, the first one, the next one, and then the third one, until they're all gone. He then orders 3 more. "Sir," says the bartender, "I know you like them cold. You don't have to order 3 at a time. I can keep an eye on you, and when you get low I'll bring you a fresh cold one." "You don't understand," the man says. "I have 2 brothers, one in Australia and one in the States. We made a vow to each other that every Saturday night we'd still drink together. So right now, my brothers have 3 Guinness stouts too, and we're drinking together. What a wonderful tradition," the bartender says, smiling. Every week after that, the man comes into the bar and orders 3 beers. But one week, he orders only 2. He drinks them and orders 2 more. "I know what your tradition is," says the bartender sadly, "and I'd just like to say that I'm sorry that one of your brothers died." "Oh, me brothers are fine," says the man. "I just quit drinking." What do you call a reverse exorcism? When the devil tells the priest to get out of the child. What's the difference between a hot potato and a flying pig? One's a heated yam and the other's a yeeted ham. What's the difference between a lentil and chickpea? I would never pay $200 to have a lentil in my mouth. One chickpea is sitting in a bar. A second chickpea comes in and looks like he's been in a fight, battered and bruised. First chickpea says, "Dude, are you okay?" Second chickpea says, "No, I feel awful." And finally, 3 guys are walking down a street and find a lamp. They rub it and sure enough a genie pops out. They each get 3 wishes. The first guy's wants a beautiful wife and poof, a gorgeous woman appears next to him. The second guy wishes to be irresistible to every woman. The first guy's wife starts walking his way. The third guy asks for one of his arms to rotate clockwise forever. Sure enough it starts rotating. Second round. First guy wishes for $1 million. Second guy wishes for infinite money. Third guy wishes for his other arm to rotate counterclockwise forever. Last round. First guy wishes he was younger. Second guy's wishes for eternal youth. And the last guy wishes to dance non-stop. 10 years go by and they go to a mutual friend's party. The first guy sees the other 2 and they start talking about how their life has changed since the wishes. He tells him how he is very happy. He has a successful business, a lovely wife, and things couldn't be greater. The second guy says that he's retired, travels and sleeps with women all over the world. The third guy looks at them with his arms swinging all over the place as he dances and says, "Guys, I think I fucked up." This is the end, my only friend. Post your favorite jokes in the comments, and be sure to subscribe.